The next stitch that we want to look at is the back stitch. So this is a strong stitch and it's used to hold seams together. You know, obviously if you do it by machine, it's much stronger. Again, but this is hand sewing technique, so we'll do this one by hand. But it's still, you know, even by hand, it's a reliable stitch. It can be used to mend seams, replace zippers. Once again, we're going to draw ourselves a straight line just to help guide us until we get more familiar with it. Once again, I'm going to knot the needle. Apologies for the repetition, but it's actually a very simple way to knot a needle, but often helped the more often we do it, or made easier the more often we do it. So then just slip it off the end. So you insert the needle into the fabric where you want the stitch to begin, where you want the sort of the seam to begin. So bring the needle up through both layers of the fabric, a short distance from your starting point. So if you want your starting point to be, use it with this pencil. If you want your starting point to be here, you bring it up a short distance in front. So you then bring the needle up through just the middle of the back stitch. So I was actually coming from the back there. You come from the front. And then you go in front of the first place that your needle came. So if we think of these in different points, you come up in point A, you go back down in point B, and you come up in point C. And I'll diagram that for you now in a second. I'm making these quite big so you can see them. But obviously the smaller you make a stitch, the stronger it will be. And then you just repeat that over the course of your seam. So thread comes up at point A from the bottom. It goes back at point B from behind, from the top, and comes up again at point C. And then you just continue along. Bring that in a little bit closer. So you don't go into the thread, you just go in front of it. So there we have our back stitch. So my last one's got a little bit crooked there because I'm finding it harder to see with the camera, but let's straighten that out. Okay. That started to make them a little bit bigger so they're easy to see. So that's your back stitch there. And then, quite a strong stitch there. It's a great seam stitch to have. The